Elder abuse and mistreatment. What is elder abuse and mistreatment? According to Cairns et al., elder abuse is when a caregiver intentionally deprives an older person of care or harms them in any way. Perpetrators include but are not limited to family members, relatives, friends, health professionals, or employees. Elder abuse is not just physical harm. Our textbook outlines 6 different types of abuse that would be considered elder abuse or mistreatment. The 6 types of abuse include physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional and psychological abuse, passive neglect, financial exploitation, and confinement. Of all the research I did, many of my sources had similar or exactly the same numbers regarding elder abuse statistics. To understand the importance, we must note that there were over 5.9 million reported cases of elder abuse in 2010, and that number only rises as the years go on. Many cases go unreported, so this number may actually be higher. Not to mention, 1 in 9 Americans over the age of 60 has experienced some form of abuse, and nearly 50% of people with dementia are victims of some form of abuse. In addition, victims lost at least $2.9 billion to financial abuse in 2009. Victims of elder abuse are twice as likely to be hospitalized. The direct medical costs of injuries are estimated to contribute to more than $5.3 billion to the nation's annual health expenditures. The elderly who have been abused also have a 300% higher risk of death. So how did we get here, and why is this happening? According to Age in Place, it is due to America's growing elderly population. In 1900, the population of those in the United States over the age of 65 was only 3 million. In 1994, we see this number jump to 33 million and continue to rise to 36.8 million in 2010. It is estimated that by the year 2050, there will be nearly 80 million people in the United States over the age of 65. This is what we call the graying of America. Researchers identified factors that increase the likelihood of caregivers abusing or mistreating the elderly. They include inexperience, having other demands, caring for children, living full-time with a dependent elder, high stress, isolation, and a history of depression. Sociological connections. I chose functionalism because it focuses on society and how different parts will depend on each other. The elderly populations provided a pathway for future generations and are a vital portion of society, but over time they will become dependent upon younger generations. They took care of us growing up, and now it's time for someone to take care of them. I felt the conflict theory was also related because it focuses on domination and power. The elderly no longer hold any form of power and are very vulnerable, which leads other groups in society to take advantage or control them. In addition, the elderly struggle for their share of resources, and the competition between younger generations becomes conflict. Sociological concept. The first term is social mobility. Social mobility is the ability for individuals to move upward or downward socially. The elderly are moving downward, becoming more dependent on others in every aspect of life. Another term I chose was alienation, which means a condition in which the individual is isolated and divorced from his or her society, work, or sense of self. I feel that this is related based on 2 additional sociological concepts, the disengagement theory and the activity theory. The disengagement theory states withdrawing from society and relationships is a normal part of growing old. The elderly are already vulnerable and inferior, and they will naturally withdraw themselves, which creates a barrier between them and the caregiver, which may result in mistreatment as well as feeling alienated. The activity theory can also relate because the more active and involved the elderly are, the happier they will be. The elderly need connections in order to avoid feeling alienated. As a way to help the elder mistreatment, caregivers should be aware of this and strive to keep the elderly involved and active. So what can we do? UC Irvine as well as the NCPEA are both dedicated to preventing elder abuse. If you see an elderly in danger, call 911, and if you suspect abuse, contact local adult protective services. Also consider volunteering or becoming a caregiver.